So guys, we've got a preview of Chapter 4 of Boruto Two Blue Vortex, and we get to see the most anticipated part of the story. And we might actually be getting a flashback arc in the next chapter, as the preview states what happened to Boruto who left the village in the past. Now, the question we ask ourselves is if this precludes a recollection arc, or is Kishimoto actually planning to continue the ongoing storyline? Are the mysteries of the time skip arc beginning to unfold? Let's find out, but before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The last manga panel of Boruto Two Blue Vortex Chapter 3 is a major cliffhanger and the most hyped so far. The hand sign we see Boruto making is either reflecting Sage Mode or the anticipated Jogan. This is because a similar gesture was made by him in the beginning scene when he activated the dojutsu. Also, we are anticipating a battle between Boruto and Kawaki, which is most likely going to erupt very soon, and if it's not that Boruto is about to reverse someone to Code's dimension to stop the worst future from happening. But it seems like we won't be seeing the fate of Boruto in the present timeline because the preview for the next chapter hints otherwise. And it seems like we are now finally getting the continuation of the last time skip chapter very soon. Kishimoto also left us with a brilliant cliffhanger, and now there are a lot of hindrances that the conclusion of this chapter brings. It will now take us to the mysterious period, which is the blast to the past that would unfold many mysteries of the time skip. The reason why it's the right time to dive into the past is because of the hype that these post-time skip chapters have created. The most interesting thing about this is that the ongoing events are still a part of Boruto's memories that he's recollecting during the Kawaki fight we see in episode 1. So let's look at some questions that needs to be answered in the flashback of Boruto Two Blue Vortex. First question we are addressing is the state of Sasuke. Since the beginning of the Two Blue Vortex, we haven't heard or seen any glimpse of Sasuke. This is the first mystery that needs to be solved. And well, many fans believe that Sasuke is already dead, which explains the lifeless look Boruto has on his face. It's worth mentioning that the anime also foreshadowed Boruto's time skip mentors and the persons of Jiraiya and Sasuke. And since Jiraiya and Sasuke both interacted with Boruto at the same time in the anime, it's not likely that Sasuke would die in time skip. However, if Sasuke is actually dead, then Kashin Koji has taken up the mentorship of Boruto. And talking about Koji, it seems like any intentions he might have about training Boruto is neutral. Let me explain what I mean. Unless Kishimoto has planned that omnipotence should reduce on the Kata side, then there's no way Kashin Koji is immune to it. What I simply mean is that Kashin Koji sees Boruto as Kawaki, and that the fact that he is trying to help him signifies that he's trying to protect Konoha from the present threats, which are Code and his army. So Koji doesn't have any business with Kawaki, who stole Boruto's identity. His major concern is the protection of the shinobi world. Right now, it makes more sense in Koji helping Boruto out and seeking revenge against his counterpart. It also strikes me on how ever since the omnipotence jutsu was cast, the life of Kawaki and Boruto has been different. Kawaki enjoyed the luxury of his life, which of course he stole from Boruto, while Boruto on the other hand is trying to save the whole world from destruction. Boruto has also gone through a lot of dramas, but even with all this, he was able to master one of the most formidable abilities. While Kawaki on the other hand has gone through some significant changes. For example, he evolved his Karma Eye, and this is because he had a training in a dimension where time ceases to exist. It's intriguing that at the first part of the story, Kawaki had the limelight and Boruto had a boring life, but the role reversal has made them both switch, thereby making Boruto the interesting one. It's quite notable that Kishimoto was able to pull off this contrast in their legacies. It shows that omnipotence not just did a role reversal of the lives of the major characters in Boruto series, but it also switched the point of view of the readers. The mystery behind Sasuke's disappearance may be revealed in the flashback arc of the story. The scar on Code's left eye generates another question for us. Did Sasuke inflict it on him to stop him from being a menace, or was it done by Boruto? The scar could prove Sasuke's death, or to be realistic, the turning of Sasuke into a tree. This is the most plausible theory of what happened to Sasuke. Maybe Sasuke landed a brutal slash on Code's left eye, then he gets devoured by Code's claw grimes. So another question we will ask is if the flashback would begin from this battle between Boruto and Code, or would it be the training arc or the entry of Kashin Koji? Well, for me, I believe the blast from the past would center on Kashin Koji and how he encountered Boruto and Sasuke in the past. Maybe he interrupted the fight between Code and Boruto during the time skip, or that he saved Sasuke from becoming a tree. Let's look at why Kashin Koji decided to help Boruto in the first place, but more specifically, how he taught him a technique which can easily be used to knock out a Jogan-level opponent. And why didn't he learn it himself? If Kashin Koji was the one who taught Boruto the Rasengan Uzuhiko, then why couldn't he use it back then in his fight against Ishiki? We then have the concept of predestined genes and how relevant they have become to the plot. There's a whole lot that's associated with this statement, which was made by Ishiki alone. Kashin Koji being the clone of Jiraiya means that he's going to adapt the legacy of Jiraiya. And this simply means that he would seek out the child of prophecy who is expected to be the savior of the world. This simply means that Boruto would play the role of the child of prophecy. He has already saved the world from destruction once, and he would do so again by defeating Code and Kawaki in the future. Boruto might also be the one who gathers the rest of the tails, and this would mean getting all the claw grimes together to revitalize the Jubi that look like it's dying. This means that Boruto's fate in some way would be like that of Momoshiki because they kind of share the same genetics after the fusion. So if the Otsutsuki in question, which is Momoshiki, has been in some way sealed, this means Boruto would also be sealed sometime in the future, and the fact that Kawaki has a dimension where he seals people make this theory plausible. Then Himawari would have to save Boruto and her parents. How did Kashin Koji teach Boruto a technique that he has never used? Well, the chakra pool of Boruto increased as he grew stronger, made him capable of learning this technique. But what is fascinating is that Koji has the knowledge of this power. The similarities of the Uzuhiko to the Shinjutsu of Shibai hint at Koji having the knowledge of divine techniques. My theory is that he has some remains of Shibai Otsutsuki which he allowed Boruto to absorb. Or it's possible that something like the Uzumaki stone table exists which contains technique and other things which are related to the Uzumakis. It also serves as the manuscript of learning formidable techniques like the Uzuhiko. Another mystery that may be addressed in the flashback arc could show us how Kawaki's time skip training went and how he improved on his Karma Eye. And I strongly believe that Kawaki trained in the time frozen dimension where he kept the parents of Boruto. However, there's a lot more like the character development that he has undergone which no one is talking about. In the prologue scene that we see in the beginning, he had wreaked havoc on Konoha and for some reason Boruto was unable to stop him. So it's possible that Kawaki has become stronger than Boruto and the time that he was caught off guard by a claw grime and slammed into the ground was just done to conceal his potential. The next thing we also get to see about Kawaki in the flashback arc is something that is quite intriguing. So far, there's only been a single hint indicating the potential hatred Kawaki has for shinobis. In the past, when Sarada came to Boruto's rescue, Kawaki said that shinobis were people who were destined to die early. He thinks they are not powerful enough to protect the Hokage, which is Naruto in question, especially from threats like the Otsutsuki. Looking at how Kawaki hates shinobis, one would think he has been maltreated by a shinobi before, but looking at his backstory, we see that there's no ninja involvement whatsoever. And what does this mean? This means that either something happened in the future or that it has already happened in the past. So this is definitely the character development we are talking about that we will get to see in the upcoming flashback arc. Kishimoto has taken a very creative approach when it comes to defining the Uzuhiko technique. This means that the new powers of the others might follow the same mechanism after being inspired by planets or celestial bodies. The next chapter in the flashback would be Boruto meeting Koji because the last chapter ended in a cliffhanger featuring his toad. Also, if Sasuke gets mentioned in anywhere in the present story, a flashback into the past will follow suit. The last chapter features Himawari on the cover of the story with the title being Uzuhiko, and somehow she was shown to subconsciously radiate an intensity which is almost like that of an Otsutsuki god. What do you think about this theory? Do you think Sasuke is dead or he would make a comeback? Do let us know in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.